Hello friends, good evening. Welcome to class 2 of previous year questions of economics discussion. I have started this previous year questions discussion from 2023 to 1995. I am covering each and every subject of prelims previous year questions. This is exclusively for prelims. Why I am covering this? Already I have said this is going to be the most important thing because in UPSC at least there will be somewhere around 20 questions related to the past year questions. So this is the objective of my lecture, what to look for in this video. Importance of the topic that I have started in my earlier class was Indian planning or Planning Commission of India, and what are the 5-year plans. This thing I have discussed. I have also shared the notes in my first video description box. You can have a look at it. The scope of the subject, what is the scope that you have here, and teaching the subject through past year questions, how to learn the subject through past year questions, and tips. If there is some tips to solve the questions, I am also going to cover this. This is entirely a free course, and this is course number 2 that I have started. I have already started paper 1 on this, or yes, class 1. This is class number 2. So let me continue with what are the things that we have in this class as far as UPSC's previous year question is considered. So in my last class, I have said what is demographic dividend. This question I have done. I have dealt what is the 12th 5-year plan objective. We have also seen something like what is 14th Finance Commission recommendation, and I have also discussed what is economic policy of 1991 and India's second 5-year plan, 4th 5-year plan, and 5th 5-year plan. So these are the questions that I have discussed, and I have explained what it is. So let's go for the next question, the 6th question. Which of the following are among noticeable features of recommendations of 13th Finance Commission? Now, if you look at it, observe one thing very carefully. They are asking a question on 13th Finance Commission they have asked, 14th Finance Commission they have asked. Definitely, we can expect one question on the Finance Commission in the upcoming year, that is on the 15th Finance Commission. So, Article 280 of Indian Constitution, you should know by heart. Article 281 is also speaking about Finance Commission. So 280 and 281 are the articles in the Indian Constitution which discusses about Finance Commission. So have a look at these articles. This is the Bare Act, guys. Article 280 and Article 281. Very, very important as far as our UPSC is considered. Look at this. Article 280 discusses about the composition of Finance Commission. 281 discusses about recommendations of Finance Commission. So these are the two articles that discusses about the Central Finance Commission or Union Finance Commission. In India, you also have State Finance Commission under Panchayats and Municipalities. So if you look at the chapter of Panchayats and Municipalities, there also you have Finance Commissions. For example, under Panchayats, article number 243Y discusses about State Finance Commission. The same thing, look at this, 243Y in the municipalities, and the so-called article number 243I discusses about State Finance Commission. So there are 3 articles in Indian Constitution which discusses about Finance Commission. Please have a look at it. 243I, I means income, so remember money means Finance Commission. 243Y, IY, right? So this is about State Finance Commissions. Just remember these articles. They don't ask in depth about State Finance Commissions, but what they will ask is, they will ask about Central Finance Commission, which is there in Article 280 of Indian Constitution. This is extremely important. 280 discusses about how Finance Commission is formed. 281 discusses about how the recommendations of Finance Commissions are important. Recommendations it will give to the President. However, recommendations are not binding on the government. That is the thing that we have to observe. The rest of the things is Finance Commission, practical data that you have to study from the Lakshmikant book. So this is about the chapter of Finance Commission. Please have a look at what you have to go through it. It is a constitutional body. Just now we have seen Article 280 and 281. Subsequently, you have to look at the composition. This composition is laid down in the Finance Commission Act. Constitution has not prescribed what is the qualification of members. Constitution didn't define it. It was defined by Parliament, because Constitution has given it to the Parliament to decide what should be the qualifications of members. That is another thing that you have to remember. After this, functions of Finance Commission, this is Article 280. You have this. So this you have to remember in the Bare Act. Further, what is important is it is just an advisory body. It is not mandatory to follow Finance Commission recommendation. Until that, you remember it. When I come to the polity, I discuss what exactly is this Finance Commission. One more thing that you have to remember is the first Finance Commission was appointed in 1951 and the chairman was K.C. Niyog. So far you have 15th Finance Commission, 15 commissions. The 15th Finance Commission was chaired by N.K. Singh. So remember the last four. 12th is by C. Rangarajan, 13th is by Vijay Kelkar, 14th is by Y.V. Reddy. So 14th Finance Commission recommended for distribution of 42% of devolution of taxes, 15th said 41%, 13th said 31%, remember 30.5 is the exact thing. So this is the way in which 13th Finance Commission, 14th Finance Commission, 15th Finance Commission recommended the tax devolution between the union and the states. This is some static part that you have to remember. So I repeat, planning Finance Commission is going to be one of the most important thing for UPSC because there is subsequent questions on 13th to 5 and 14th Finance Commission. We can expect on 15th Finance Commission. First, let's finish what exactly is this question. So this is speaking about which among the following are the noticeable features of 13th Finance Commission. A design for the GST and a compensation package linked to adherence to the proposed design. 13th Finance Commission chairman was Vijay Kelkar. It has to be understood that this is the first person in India, or Vijay Kelkar committee is the first one which has recommended the so-called that India should have GST. So Vijay Kelkar is the person. As a result, under his chairmanship of this Finance Commission, he has designed the GST. So 13th Finance Commission is the first commission to speak about GST. Very, very important even in the GST. A design for creation of lakhs of jobs in the next 10 years in consonance with India's demographic dividend. Now it should be understood that Finance Commission won't look into these aspects. Finance Commission speaks about tax devolution. It speaks about how vertical devolution has to be there, how horizontal distribution has to be there. Whether jobs has to be created, how many jobs has to be created, it won't speak on it until and unless President of India advises Finance Commission to do it. So this is not the function of Finance Commission. That is the reason why Article 280 is important. If you know Article 280, there are only three things: tax devolution, vertical, horizontal, how to upgrade the finances of the so-called local bodies, and any other recommendation made by the President. These are the four things. It didn't speak about lakhs of jobs. Next, devolution of specified share of central taxes to local bodies grants. Yes, 13th Finance Commission spoke about central taxes that has to be given to the local bodies. I said this is Article 280 of Indian Constitution. It speaks about how the state finances have to be upgraded, or how the finances of the local bodies has to be ensured by the central government. This is the one. So 1 and 3 is correct, 2 is not correct. How to answer this? This is purely a static part as far as GST is considered. It was recommended by 13th Finance Commission. Remember it. The rest of the two sentences is about Article 280 of Indian Constitution. So you have to study Article 280 of Indian Constitution in Tito from the Bail Act. If you look at the Bail Act, that is what I am referring to. Article 280. Please have a look at it. What the article says. You can download it from the Government of India site. I am reading it as far as Article 280 is considered. What exactly is it? So this is about Finance Commission. The President shall, within 2 years of the commencement of this Constitution, and thereafter at the expiry of every 5th year, constitute a Finance Commission which will contain chairman and 4 other members. That is what it is saying. So President will constitute it. First, this Constitution came into force in 1949. Within 2 years, they have to form. Hence, in the year 1951, first Finance Commission was formed. From then onwards, every 5 years, they are forming it. So, K.C. Niyog was the first Finance Commission chairman. So, that is the first thing that you have to remember. The second thing that you have to remember is President is constituting it. What is the composition of this? There are chairman plus 4 other members. However, the qualifications of these members were not determined. Who will determine that qualifications? Constitution is saying Parliament may by law determine the qualification. Hence, the qualification of this persons should be determined by Parliament. Hence, what Parliament made in the year 1950, they passed Finance Commission Act 1950, and they have recommended, or they have given what are the qualifications. This is extremely important. Now, clause 3 says what is the duty of this commission. The duties are very clear. Vertical devolution of taxes, that is between the union and the states, and how that has to be divided and how that has to be allocated between the states. So from union to states, how it has to be divided among the states, what should be the formula that we have to have. So what is the formula that 15th Finance Commission has recommended? If you look at the 15th Finance Commission's recommendations, guys, this is the one. 14th Finance Commission recommended the sharing of the taxes between the states based on income distance, forest ecology, area, population. It is 14th. 15th, they have given much effort to the income distance, followed by area and population, followed by forest and ecology, followed by demographic performance and tax effort. This is again extremely important. So like this, they have devolved 41% of the taxes. So that is the thing that you have to remember. The principle which should govern the granting aid of the revenues of the states out of consolidated fund of India. How granting aids should be given to the states. Next one is how to augment the consolidated fund of the state, show that there will be resources for the panchayats and municipalities. So these are the recommendations that the Finance Commission has done. Next one is any other matter referred to it by President of India. So just remember this. The Commission shall determine their own procedure. No one is going to determine the procedure. Committee will follow their own procedure in the performance of their functions, which means it is exercising autonomy in determining how to operate to do that function. Recommendations of the Finance Commission. The President shall cause every recommendation made by the Finance Commission to be provided with the House of Parliament. So before each House of Parliament, President lays down it. However, government is not required to follow that. So this is about Article 280, 281. Very, very important, these two articles. You have to know line by line this. Whatever I have highlighted, that is important. President, 2 years, after every first 2 years, after every 5 years, chairman plus 4 members, Parliament is going to determine the qualifications. Duty of the Commission is for determining vertical devolution, horizontal devolution formula. We have seen the formula for 14th and 15th, and how to give granting aids and how to supplement the resources of the panchayats and municipalities. Next one is other recommendations, if any, made by the President. And President will lay down the recommendations of this Finance Commission before the two houses. That is important. Hence, this is important. Finance Commission, very, very important for UPSC. You have to be alert in this Finance Commission. This is what the Act says. So sixth question is about it. Seventh question, we have already seen one question on this. That is third question and sixth question are regarding Finance Commission. We can expect one question this year. Seventh question I have already done. What is demographic dividend? Right? Next one. In the context of India's 5-year plans, very important question. A shift in the pattern of industrialization with lower emphasis on heavy industries and more on infrastructure has begun in which year? This is the question. Now what is this? So this is asking about objectives of 12 5-year plans. So what it is saying is, in the 12 5-year plans, Government of India has focused on some years on agriculture and industry. Slowly, from one plan, they have started thinking about the so-called infrastructure. So they are asking, from when did the planning has given focus on infrastructure? Which 5-year plan has given focus on infrastructure? That is the question. Which 5-year plan has the objective of infrastructure in their plan? That is what the question is. Now, what is the answer? How I said you to remember in this notes that I have already shared to you. Look at this. The 6th Finance Commission has the objectives of focusing on infrastructure. Until that period of time, the first 5-year plan focused on agriculture, second is on industries, third one is again on the introduction of food grains, that is the so-called agriculture. Next one is they have attainment of economic stability through poverty elimination. Poverty elimination again in the 5th thing. In the 6th thing, they have focused on infrastructure. Hence, a shift from industries, from agriculture, from the so-called poverty has been made to infrastructure, or infrastructure has started coming into focus in the 6th 5-year plan. Very static bit that you have to remember. 8th 5-year plan is the plan which was followed after LPG reforms. It was in the year 1992. So from 1992 to 97, the 8th 5-year plan was there. Again, extremely important thing as far as planning is considered. In the 8th 5-year plan, government went for LPG reforms. The second thing that it did 8th 5-year plan is it has focused on the so-called industrial liberalization. So if something is speaking about liberalization policies, then that is 8th 5-year plan. Always remember it. So 10th 5-year plan, just look at the objectives that I have shared, that is more than enough. Inclusive growth, as enunciated in the 11th 5-year plan, does not include which of the following. So which of the following is not a component of inclusive growth? So if you know the meaning of inclusive growth and how inclusive growth is attained, you can solve this problem. Now what is the technique? Inclusive growth is a positive term. Look at all the positives which will be helping the people. Inclusive growth is making the lower sections or marginal sections a part and parcel of your growth. That is the thing. Which means in the growth, the fruits of the growth should not be concentrated in few hands, rather it has to be distributed to the wider community. In that wider community, there are marginal sections. In that marginal sections, you find the so-called women, children, the disabled, the seniors, something like the traditionally suppressed people, like the minorities, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes. All these people are part of this vulnerable sections. You have to make them a part and parcel of growth. That is called inclusive growth. Now, which among the following? So, inclusive growth, Government of India has focused on the 11th 5-year plan. That is the thing that you have to remember. If you look here, in the 11th 5-year plan, Government of India started focusing on inclusive growth. It continued in the 12th 5-year plan. In 12th 5-year plan, they added one more thing along with the inclusive growth, sustainable growth. This I have already discussed. So, 11th 5-year plan, from 11th 5-year plan, they focused on inclusive growth. From the so-called 6th 5-year plan, they have focused on infrastructure. That is the thing that you have to remember. Now, how inclusive growth can be attained? So, inclusive growth means reducing poverty. Obviously, this is one thing. Extension of employment opportunities. Yes, by extending employment opportunities only, you can reduce poverty. So, this is positive term. This is positive term. Next one is strengthening of economic capital market. Now, what is capital market? Giving more hands to the so-called capital investments, or capital market means giving free hand to the market forces. Fourth one is reduction of gender inequality. If you look at inclusive growth contains three things: poverty, inequality removal, as well as employment creation. So these three things are part and parcel of inclusive growth. One thing is not a part and parcel of inclusive growth, that is capital market. So this is the way in which you have to solve. Capital market means giving free hand to the market. If you give free hand to the market, there will be huge exploitation, which means it is speaking about privatization. The rest of the three things are speaking about socialization. These are the things. So inclusive growth is more about inclusivity. Next. An objective of the National Food Security Mission is to increase the production of certain crops through area expansion and productivity enhancement in a suitable manner. Very, very important this year, because in the National Food Security Act this year, what Government of India has did, Government of India is giving free ration for the eligible beneficiaries. Hence, they can ask this question this year. An objective of National Food Security Mission is to increase the production of certain crops. So this is the objective: increase production of certain crops. Which crops? Minimum support price crops, through area expansion and productivity enhancement in a suitable manner and sustainable manner. Identified in the countries. What are the crops that they are focusing? Earlier, the crops that they are focusing are on the food grains. The food grains that they are focusing are rice, wheat, and pulses. Today, for these you have MSPs. For oilseeds, you do not have MSPs. Rather than MSPs, what you have for oilseeds? You have price support scheme for oilseeds. For vegetables, what you have? Top or pot, potato, onion, tomatoes. Today it was extended to total, top to total. So this scheme is for vegetables. So rice, wheat and pulses are covered under MSP. As a result, that is National Food Security Mission. This is covered under price support mechanisms. Vegetables are covered under tomato, potato, onion. Consider the following statements regarding Indian planning. Again, they are asking what is planning. The second 5-year plan was established or emphasized on the establishment of heavy industries. Look, the same question was asked here. So this was a repetition. If you are studying previous year questions, they are asking repetitive questions. They have asked here. The second 5-year plan was giving thrust on the so-called basic and capital goods. So it was speaking about heavy industries. So both are correct. This one and that one is correct. Mahal Nobi's plan. The third 5-year plan introduced the concept of import to substitution as a strategy of industrialization. So we have focused on the third 5-year plan not to hugely depend on imports, because India by that point of time was a net importer of food grains. We wanted to have self-sufficiency in food grains in the third 5-year plan. Even if you look at the objectives that I have shared in the book, the third 5-year plan is speaking about self-reliance, self-sufficiency of food grains. This is the question. Obviously, that becomes the correct thing. So, both the statements are correct. This is again static part, guys. You have to remember. The last question is, among the other things, which of the following was the purpose for which Deepak Parekh committee was constituted? Deepak Parekh committee was constituted for suggesting the measures for financing the development of infrastructure. So Deepak Parekh committee is related to infrastructure challenges and how to overcome that challenges. To study the current socio-economic conditions of certain minorities, that is Muslims, you have a committee to study the current socio-economic conditions of certain minority communities under Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. They have constituted a committee. If you know that committee, please text in the commentary box. Let us see what is that committee, how many people know this committee. I am going to answer this in my next class. Next, to suggest measures for financing the development of infrastructure, Deepak Parekh committee. To frame policy on the production of genetically modified crops. On the genetically modified crops, you do not have any committee. Next one is to suggest measures to reduce the fiscal deficit in the union budget. This is NK Singh committee. NK Singh committee. So A, B and D have certain committees, right? For Muslims, there is one committee to suggest the reforms in the Muslim community or to improve the socio-economic conditions of Muslims. Government of India has constituted a committee. Please text it. If you are not knowing, I will explain in my next class. To suggest measures for financing development of infrastructure, Deepak Parekh. For C, there is no committee. For D, to suggest measures to reduce the fiscal deficit in the union budget, you have NK Singh committee. These are the things that we have as far as planning is considered until the topic of 2009 or 2008. This is the thing that is available. So if you look at this, let me finish it here itself. To study the current socio-economic conditions of Muslims, you have such a committee. Such a committee. This is another data that you have to remember. Hence guys, this is from 2023. As I have already said, I will be covering it in two phases. One phase is from 2023 to 2008. The second phase is from 2008 to 1995. So this is the first phase of 2003 to 2008 questions in planning. So if you look at planning, what is my summary? They are asking objectives of planning. They are asking some years of planning. They are asking something like finance commission related things, and they are asking about growth and inclusive growth aspects. So what is the book that you have to refer? Go to my first video in the description box. I have given this. This one I have already said what you have to read in this. So I will summarize this. Now what are the tips here? There are only two tips. One thing is you have to by heart the objectives. The second thing that you have to focus is like this. Look at this. They are asking about liberalization impact on the economic policies of 1991. Not that. Look at a tip here. The main demographic dividend. Have a look at this question. What is the tip? Promoting skill development, promoting social security, reducing infant mortality, privatization of higher education. Now, demographic dividend is a positive thing. If you are going to privatize this, this is a negative thing. So this is wrong. You have to eliminate it. Introducing social security schemes, reducing infant mortality. This is speaking about elders, this is speaking about infants. So these two, either if they go correct, they have to be correct, otherwise they will be wrong. So one answer is this. But the odd statement here is this. So first try to eliminate what is the odd statement in the entire text. This is the odd statement. The same thing was visible even in the so-called inclusive growth concept. In the inclusive growth, they have given this. Strengthening of capital market, privatization of education institutions, strengthening of capital market. So this is the odd statement among all these three. So you eliminate it. Now as inclusive growth is positive, look for the positive options. Whatever is positive, that becomes positive. This is negative, hence this is the answer. Not they asked this, hence this is the answer. So what you have to study? So what is my first message, guys? Whenever you are studying, the first tip is in the questions itself, look at whether the question is speaking positively, whether it is speaking negatively. If the question is positive, identify the positive statements in the descriptions or in the choices, eliminate them. If there is a negative statement, if the question is speaking negatively, look at the negative statements. What do I mean by question speaking positively and negatively? Look at this. Inclusive growth question is a positive question. Hence, you have to look at positive options. Reduction of poverty is positive. Extension of employment opportunities is positive. Reduction of gender inequality is positive. So these three things are positive. Strengthening capital market is negative. They are asking not. So very simple to get, even though if you don't know. So look at the statements. Positive statements, positive connotation. Negative statements, negative connotation. Then you can get in the context. Apart from that, you have to by heart the objectives in the planning along with this Finance Commission recommendations. Look at the 15th Finance Commission recommendation. That is very, very important for this year. So this year, as far as planning is considered, what is important? First thing is the so-called National Food Security Mission is important. Second thing is objectives are important. Third thing is you should know about 15th Finance Commission. These are the important aspects for this year. So this is my second. I will go with the next chapter in this, that is called national income, in my next class. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a great day.